Welcome, Agile friends. My name is Richard Copeland, and I'm hosting this session with our amazing speaker, Jimmy Sjölund. In this session, we'll discuss the open decision framework. Welcome, Jimmy.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great. So in this session, as Agile coaches, we'll learn about co-creating engagement using the open decision framework. There are also other sessions on the Agile Online Summit 2024 that touch on this topic. Don't miss those. For example, Jimena Saavedra talks to us about which values are missing in your teams and how to discover them with effective requests. Check out the other sessions at agileonlinesummit.com. But now it's time to focus on our guest speaker and our topic for this session. So, Jimmy, how does the open decision framework help Agile coaches encourage engagement and collaboration?
Well, yeah, since the open decision framework is built on the principles of transparency, inclusivity, and collaboration, I think that are key traits that Agile coaches usually talk about. And we can use this to create an environment where people can take ownership of decisions, no matter which type of role they actually have in the organization, and making an psychological safe environment where you could pitch in, no matter if you're the trainee or the vice president of the organization there. And keeping the process for decision making open and transparent will then also make sure that you can get more diverse ideas into the decision than you might have if it's a smaller group or similar people making the decision. If you can engage a larger, broader audience, you most likely will get more ideas, but also more better ideas. And you can filter out some of the issues that we might encounter later on otherwise, but you can do it earlier in this way. And it will also build some kind of alignment and buy-in early on, because people have the chance to contribute and feel heard, and they understand not only what the decision is once it's ready, they also understand why we landed on this decision, because you were there throughout the process and you could see the different criteria used for different areas as well.
Thanks, Jimmy. And I love the idea that it's completely flat structure, so anyone can contribute to it. As Agilists, we all love that. So it's great. So what are the key steps for effectively integrating the open decision framework into an Agile decision-making process? And can you share a practical example?
Yeah, so while the framework itself has 4 kind of phases, which is not necessarily linear because they are more like feedback loops, and you might need to go back to earlier phases if you encounter something new that requires that. But the main thing is to lead with transparency. So you publish your problem statement and maybe potential ideas of solutions early on, because that's the way you can gather these diverse perspectives, especially those that are perhaps disagreeing. When they see the decision, they have insights that we might not have, and they can have ideas that we have not thought about because we're not coming from their diverse background, but also disagreeing to have that conversation early on and be transparent with why we land on something that maybe is contradictory to what some people believe. But since we have had the conversation, they at least, if they're not agreeing with the final decision, they at least have the chance to discuss it, and they understand, as I mentioned, the process, how we got there. In that other term, it's important we keep the customer centric. So we aim for what the customer is in this sense. If that's an internal project or decision, the customers could be your colleagues or the people in the division or department or the entire company. If you're working in an open source project, where you can also make use of this, because it's even harder in an open source project where you have all the contributors doing this in their own time, volunteering, and you can't really be the CEO and